that dude was such a cunt. You're my hero now, blah, blah, blah. Dude, it was so funny. Yeah, he was a little bitch.
Clearly.
Yeah, that was actually the first fight I
ETJ.
got into. I beat the shit out of the leader of Madrox family. He was a pussy from Glenmore, too. Can you believe that shit? Trying to act hard, and he's from Glenmore.
Well, all juggalos try to act hard. That's what
Yeah,
they do.
I mean, some juggalos, like, have good drugs and they're fun to party with. Like, I don't hate all juggalos. I just hated that one specifically.
I feel like juggalos are like the people that like try to trip off Dramamine and shit. I feel like that's what kind of drugs juggalos have.
They buy mouthwash when they have enough money for cheap whiskey. Like that, those type of people. Those are my people, though.
Those are my people.
I've considered going to the gathering. Just
Oh,
like,
for sure.
You're like, why not?
I would go
Just-
to it.
yeah,
I would
just
definitely
to
go.
see it.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, not because of ICP though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Ice
Right
Cube
into
played
it.
at the gathering, so that's like,
How long ago was that?
I mean, years ago.
Right.
But
I think now it's not nearly as.
as almost cool.
Yeah.
Like even though it was Ice Cube.
See, that
Ice
would
Cube
be
was at
cool.
the gathering.
Yeah, he performed. Yeah,
That's
a lot
Method
of
Man,
like,
Redman,
Yeah.
dude. There's a couple artists that go there
Like,
that
Like,
you wouldn't
look,
expect.
it's starting to get a little bit legit.
Yeah. Oh, I'm pretty sure Method Man and Redman have done it a few times already.
be
Yeah.
dope.
Are you
Yeah.
shitting me?
No, like they get artists to go there and play the gathering.
Dude, as every other like
Was
kid
Smash
who grew up in
Mouth
East
ever there,
Liverpool, I was like into ICP for real for like probably 2 years. But I never called myself a juggalo, never wore a Hatchet Man, never owned any merch, but I listened to a lot of their music.
See, like
For
I
like
heard
2
it for the
years.
first time in 5th grade, and my first thought was, "Wow, this is gay." Like I have never liked it. I've never thought it was fucking cool.
First time I heard it, I was like, wow, this is bad kid music.
This is what I shouldn't listen to, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen
So
to
I'm
it.
gonna listen. This would piss my mom
Yeah.
off.
Did you guys have like
That
those
was my
bands and
Eminem.
shit that you would use to piss off your parents?
Yeah, Korn was one of them.
Really?
Yeah, I remember my mom not liking the even just the album cover of the Korn CD, and that made me want to listen to it even more.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
My mom actually, I always thought she would be like real. I always thought my mom was way more strict than she was. But my mom was like, I couldn't piss her off with any music ever. She'd be like, that's just gross. When it's like, oh, come in your butt and make you eat it. But like, she would never take, like, video games. When I was like 8, she took away my Grand Theft Auto 3. And then like, but other than that, like when it came to music, she was just like, whatever you're into, you're into. Just like when I got into Cannibal Corpse, she's like, you don't want to kill people, right? I was like, no, it's like scary movie, but into music. Okay. Like my mom was always really cool about whatever music I listened to.
That was a good way to fucking put that.
Yeah.
I wish I could have fucking articulated that as a child. My dad's like smashing Slipknot CDs and
Yeah, it's like a scary. It's like if
It's
you
a
like
scary
horror
movie, I mean,
movies, then you like metal music. It's kind of hand in hand
Yeah.
to me.
see he did that, but nowadays like I like to show him like videos of Corey Taylor playing Wild Horses acoustic and shit,
Yeah,
just to fuck with him.
They
I mean,
calm down.
that is
Yeah.
an impressive kind of like 180 he pulled. Like, I mean, he's always been a legit singer. That's the thing people don't realize. Like that false chord style, that screaming style. Everyone's like, that requires no talent. It's like. You scream for 5 minutes at your kids and your voice blows
Yeah,
out. You
exactly.
tell me, you know, and
Yeah.
it doesn't sound anywhere as good, you know.
It's not easy to just go and like every night. If
Yeah.
you're on a tour and just do that every night.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, let's see you do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, people just don't understand that, you know, anything that, even if you don't like it, it might still be difficult to do.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people won't admit if they don't like it, then, oh, then it's easy. I could do that. I just don't want to, you know.
When people fucking downplay shit like that, like just because I don't get it doesn't make it shit. But I do know when shit is shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know, like that's not saying like that everyone should be able to get away with everything and call it fucking art or call it goddamn music.
Like Piss Christ, for example. Have
I
you
don't know
ever-
what Piss Christ is, but I can automatically tell you they suck shit.
It's just a crucifix in a jar that someone pissed into a bunch till it filled up, and then, like, they call it art. Like, it's a significant art piece in New York.
Oh, you're not making this up.
No, it's real.
Vince thought it was a band.
I thought it was a band
So
too.
did I.
Yeah.
I was
Like-
like, that's the sweetest band name I've ever heard in my
That's
life.
Dude, that is for sure a power. That's a power violence band right
That is
there if I've
definitely-
ever heard
Dude,
one.
if you ever rename your band, you found it right there.
Piss Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Generally speaking, if someone is performing now, like in any, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna hate on that person because that takes fucking nuts for the most part to
Yeah.
even just
That's very progressive of you.
Say the
perform in
word.
art. Well,
He's been
but-
out on the West Coast
He's
too
been on the
long.
West Coast for far too long.
Generally
I've told you
speaking,
that.
But
You've been
someone
out there.
pissing in a jar and calling it an art and just like taking a picture and be like, "This is my art." And kinda,
Yeah,
like, send it-
yeah.
You're not performing.
I'm not even
You're
going to
just pissing,
humor
you're
the
just
fact that you're a performer, quote unquote.
yeah.
Does it do air quotes right now?
But no, I'm with you. I mean, I've played with my share of like garbage ass
That's not the,
bands,
but there's that.
and like, but I
that's-
still respect them. I
that's
really
like
do.
the fucked up thing about art is that you can just do whatever and say, "Oh no, it's art," and then like people are just like, "Well, he
Oh,
called it
then
art."
it's abstract.
Then-
then.
yeah.
If it sucks, then it's abstract.
But it's like,
It
what's
sucks that
what's
it's
actually the
abstract.
line of which is like, no, that's bullshit. That's
Yeah.
not art.
yeah, I mean,
I think about that a lot. Like, how can you you could just do it, like fling shit on the wall and say it's art?
yeah. I mean, like when
Because
I,
Oh,
it
he's
is.
so brilliant.
You kidding me?
So brilliant. You see the emotion in it? Yeah, as he fucking
The way it
flung diarrhea.
splatters.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
You can't recreate that every time. That's art.
Well, it's where my
This
mind
is a
goes.
prank.
I don't.
Yeah. New idea for art now. Canvas and shit and just throwing it.
I mean, there is shit though. Like if you play with, and this hasn't literally happened, but probably somewhere. Like if you see a band that like every song is like one note away from the same Green Day song.
Yeah.
It's just like there's a little difference in each, but every song is almost identical to each other.
Right.
Then it's like, is that really like? Can you call that anything other than trash? You know, I don't know. I mean, in the sense
you're
of
talking like pop punk, Green Day.
yeah,
Gremlins,
well, even
pretty
what
much.
pisses me off when there's clearly a half decent pop punk band playing and they call themselves hardcore punk. I think, but that's a whole different thing. But yeah, in a sense, yeah, it's just they're
I hate that there's so many subgenres.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't
I'm with
know
you
what,
that.
after post-hardcore, that's why I fell off. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it post-hardcore?
I developed
Popcore?
I developed a severe case of autism for music. So I'm pretty up to date on most genres. You know, post-hardcore is still just post-hardcore, but nobody really does that anymore because most of the bands who were post-hardcore bands were doing that because that was popular. So, and there's still a few out there that are like, no, this is just what we love to play, and those are the legit ones. But yeah, there's bands that like every time there's like a new fad, they're playing a whole different type of music. You know, like post-hardcore was cool probably 5-6 years ago, but now what's really big now? Trap. So they probably do beats now. Like I literally know a
Post-hardcore had
dude
a
who did
fucking
that. Now that
run,
I'm
though.
thinking about it.
He's following the money.
Hey, and that's fine too. You know, that's
Selling out.
They did have a fucking good run. Like, the entire post-hardcore genre.
Yeah.
That fucking thing spanned since we were in high school through, like, probably 2012.
That's when they started getting noticeable.
Yeah.
A lot of those dudes were playing in the late '90s.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah, that was like everybody had some kind of. Everybody was in hardcore music.
I like that a
just-
lot of those bands are coming back.
I just don't.
Some of them
like,
never went away.
I still don't, like Vince was saying, that some of the genres, like I don't know what I was even listening to like half the time. Like
I still
like
don't.
Honestly,
I know what
if
I
you
like, I
like
know what
it,
I
that's
don't
all
like.
that fucking
Yeah,
matters.
that's
I know
That's
what
all
I
that
like.
fucking
That's
matters.
generally
what
what
I
I've gone by.
Yeah.
I like this. This
Nobody's
fits my
gonna
ears
call
well.
you a poser for not knowing this is post grind porno core.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah,
like if they are, then they're a dick. So
Is that a thing?
probably,
It's somewhere.
yeah. There's probably at least one
We could
band
start
from fucking
making it.
Brunswick, New
That's what
Jersey,
Piss-
or some
Piss
shit.
Christ is.
Genres were the first fucking like genders that were just like it was just made up on the spot. Like just like we you know what our band is? Fucking grindcore.
You know, not being a dick,
You
but
know
that's
what I
why I love talking to black dudes because everything is either rock or rap. There's nothing else.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It could be like,
Well,
you know,
it's summed up, isn't it?
yeah, it
I
could be
mean-
like a beat down hardcore band. Oh, that's like rock, isn't it? Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they're not
It has
wrong.
a guitar.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
guitar in it.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's kind of
You're
how I
correct.
look. That's
Yeah,
kind of
you're
like how I
correct.
look at it. I have a couple other genres, I guess,
Yeah.
but it's like one of 5 things essentially.
Yeah, you just leave
You know
it
what I mean?
at a general sense, and I
Yeah.
mean, do close enough. Like,
Like country,
Oops, sorry.
rock,
That's all right.
I didn't
rap,
touch knees with
hey
you.
man, I appreciated it.
contemporary.
My fucking leg spasmed.
He really liked it.
So you live out in Portland?
Eugene.
Eugene.
It's like
Might as
2 hours
well.
south of Portland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is this is something I wanted to ask you. What is the difference in just general, like how people are, because I've done some traveling and
Yeah.
I've noticed like when you go down south, I mean, at the end of the day, people are people,
Yeah.
but there's a whole different aura and a vibe. When you're down south, you know it.
Like South U.S.
Yeah, like Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida.
Okay, so when you say that vibe, do you mean because there's that weirdness, like if you walk into a diner,
Right.
for the most part, you get really great customer service.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you wander into the wrong gas station in the middle
And
of the
then
night.
you get stabbed for
It-
$3.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
it's just hicky and rednecky.
Right.
I feel a slight inverse out west where like every restaurant I go to, terrible customer service. Like
Yeah.
you don't get that. But generally speaking,
Like just
violent crime isn't the concern. Someone might break into your car.
Right.
Someone might like
Petty
approach
crimes.
you for petty crime is fucking
Yeah.
terrible out there. But I never really feel
It's a
too
bunch
Like
of petty ass
threatened out there.
motherfuckers live out there.
Yeah, now Eugene has a meth problem, so that kind of throws a wrench in that.
because that's kind of in the woods, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like it's got the progressiveness of Portland, but it's still in the hills, so it still retains some hickiness.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me feel at home. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But the meth issue when you approach someone who's tweaking out can really throw a wrench into that
Oh,
because
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
know how someone
Oh yeah.
strung out.
I just ran into a dude 2 days ago. Fucking. Well, it was heroin. He was coming down. He was trying to use my phone, and you could just spot that shit from a mile away.
Yeah, just
you know?
mental unease and instability.
Right.
To the point where when I moved out there, being out here, you kind of get used to people who are nodding off, who aren't attentive, who aren't being too aggressive.
There's
You
just
kinda
so
do a good
many.
job of avoiding them. Meth heads are very fucking awake.
Yeah.
Like
They need to touch you.
they're walking around neighborhoods with an axe because they dropped their wallet and someone fucking took it, even
Yeah.
though they dropped their wallet 3 days ago, found it, left it at their house, and then got high for 2 days, and then they think they lost their wallet.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
and that's the weird monkey wrench in this is that there's like these weird random acts of violent crime done by people on methamphetamine.
Yeah.
almost specifically.
Mostly probably trying to get more too.
Yeah,
You know.
and
Yeah.
it
That's where
throws
the root
that.
is. Now the other thing is too. Like, I just thought of this. What the fuck is the correlation between living in the fucking sticks and meth? Because like if you go to Negley, it's not. I mean, I'm sure there's like heroin people out in Negley, but I heard
I think that's
meth
the way
is
it
huge.
started, but I don't think that's the way it is now. Meth
Yeah.
is just everywhere
It,
now.
it's
Yeah.
it's
It
the
really is, it's
remoteness.
everywhere.
It's the
Yeah.
remoteness of it being able to produce it and be undetected.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
why being out in the sticks it ends up being popular. Is you can cook meth for 13 days in a camper if you got a couple acres of land and no one's gonna fuck with you. you
Yeah,
know?
that makes sense.
And
And then the other thing, it's also really popular in the club scene.
yeah.
You know, so and you couldn't get two more opposite worlds: the sticks, the
yeah.
boonies, and the clubs. you
And
know?
meth is a lot more accepted in circles of people I meet out there who I would generally party with, whereas in the past, meth is a dirty drug. It's like,
Yeah.
it's nothing we would be sitting around doing. But now people I meet out there who I'll drink and
sit
smoke
around
and
and do
hang out with, not that they're sitting around and doing it, but they will use meth if it were to be available and might actually prefer meth over Coke or something
That's what
like
I'm saying,
that.
like
yeah.
a casual, just weekend drug type thing. Like,
Yeah, it is not something that is out of the question to me. It is to me, but like it's not to them. I generally don't care. Most of these people, like I said, I'm just having a beer with them. I don't give a fuck
Right,
what they
yeah.
do with their life. So yeah,
I mean, as a recreational user, meth is a better buy.
It is the better value.
Yeah.
Now that raises questions.
More bang for the buck.
I wouldn't mind giving meth the old college try. Okay, in
Yeah.
theory, right? I don't want to be up for 3 days though. You know what I mean? So what would be your recommendation if say, and I'm probably not going to use meth because I do have an addictive personality and I feel like I'd love it. But like
Seems
what would,
popular with everyone that uses it.
for anyone listening who's considering trying meth but doesn't want to be up for 3 days, what would be like a recommended method of use and like dosage?
Well, you're gonna be up for a long time, no matter how you do it.
Oh,
Like it's not like
But that not necessarily. The problem is re-hitting the dosage after you do it the first time. That's how people end up
yeah.
strung out for days. It does last longer than most amphetamines.
But
so.
I mean, it's also with like coke. When you're done using it, you still have that. You're not high anymore, but you still have like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're still awake, and
Yeah.
it's not like you can't just go to bed and fall asleep.
right.
Type
Yeah.
of thing, like that after linger effect. But also, having that like desire to want to do more is obviously the hardest part about it.
But if you did all your cocaine at one time, all the cocaine you were going to do at one time, it would only last for 45 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And it's how you dose that. You wouldn't do meth that same way.
Right.
I don't know an appropriate dosage.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, there probably isn't one. Being
Yeah.
real.
For
You know.
me, the appropriate dosage is not.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
With that.
I don't. Meth is just one of those ones that's like, I have my hard line nose. Like, I'm not even curious. Meth is one of them. Any kind of opiates. I'm just, fuck all that. But I'm a beer and weed guy at the end of the day. Beer and weed, just straight beer and weed, not even liquor.
I have no aspirations for meth or crack or heroin. I
Yeah,
don't know
crack's
why.
another one. I know dudes who've like, yeah, I did crack. It wasn't that bad. I don't see what the big fuss. And I'm like,
I'm just
dude,
itchy for a little while.
I just don't want to go through life saying, yeah, I tried crack. Like,
I tried crack.
yeah,
Did you try crack?
and I imagine it's not as bad as like Tyrone Biggums on the Chappelle Show made it seem.
No, but it definitely. I don't understand why someone's like, I have to sell everything I have to get more
get
of that
crack.
shit.
Could
Right?
get
Yeah.
more of this.
Like,
Yeah.
it was.
That's
like-
just a
I never had
hedonist.
that feel either from it, where I was like, I need to do more.
Yeah,
I just like. I don't know. Like it was an accident, but I was halfway in, so I
You've
was
never
like,
heard
fuck it,
this
I'm gonna-
story?
I'm gonna
No.
enjoy it.
Yeah, it was a total accident.
That was at the Big Al's, right?
Yeah, I was at a bar. I was drunk. Someone asked me, "Hey, you got a pipe? We can smoke." And I was like, "I thought they were talking about smoking weed."
yeah, like you
Oh,
do.
whoops.
Yeah, like I mean,
Not
that's,
at Big
that's
Al.
Like
the
if
default.
anyone said that, I'd be like, yeah, man, I got my bowl in the car or whatever, you
Yeah,
know.
run up, get my bowl, bring it back down. See him breaking something up into it. I thought it was a roach. I was like, "Oh, we're smoking a roach. That kind of sucks."
Yeah.
And then it gets around to me, and I'm like, hit it with a lighter. I'm like, this is burning really weird. Oh, this is not what I thought it was. Instantly realized it was.
Man, it smells like nail polish.
Yeah, nail polish and burning rubber.
And then it's like, well, I don't want to be rude.
Yeah, I want to enjoy this. Someone
Yeah.
gave
If
it
I
to
don't
me.
do this, he's
Offer
gonna
this
think
to-
I'm a narc.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I fucking ripped it and held it in and went back upstairs, enjoyed my wings, and enjoyed my night. It was like I did some
Cracking
did
wings,
some
man.
coke. Yeah, cracking wings.
Cracking wings.
Cracking wings.
I
long
don't
does
know if
crack
there's.
last?
That sounds like heaven on earth.
Cracking wings. It's
I got a
nice-
good 90 minutes out of whatever I was feeling. It was,
One
but
hit?
yeah, it was one big hit. After I realized what I was doing, I was like, I'm not
We're
doing
gonna
a
do it.
second one. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do
Buy
one
the
big
ticket,
one.
take the ride.
Yeah, but 90 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah.
It was, but I would never do it again. I would never
Yeah.
seek it out. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah, that is something I would not do again.
No.
No.
What's your story with crack?
You got time?
Yeah, I got time.
No.
What's
Got
your
another
big
one
deal?
time.
And it was
I'm gonna sit back here and drink my beer while you tell this
It
story.
was a very interesting story of how I stumbled upon it. I was actually in Miami. I'm surprised I haven't told this story. But I was in Miami.
By the way, all these stories are just fiction. They're just stories.
yeah, they're all
Everything
things
from
that-
beginning to end. So
Somebody told me this. This is not. A
yeah,
real
this
thing.
is someone you know, but
This
you'll
is
say
theater
I.
films.
Me.
I'll say I
I'll
for
say
anonymity.
me and I throughout
Yeah.
all the, yeah.
All
Um,
totally hypothetical.
We were in Miami, and it was kind of funny because the whole time there, the first thing we do, we were staying in this fucking shitty ass hotel. We didn't get there till like 1 o'clock in the morning, and somebody. It was kind of funny because there's 3 of us that went. I had a little bit of money. This other guy had a little bit of money. The guy who organized the trip had like no money. So he's like balling on a budget. Everything's tight. And he's like, I got the hotel. Everything's all good. And we show up 1 o'clock in the morning. Like we're in the cab ride. And like, you know, those tall tell signs when you're going through areas. And you're like, okay, well, this doesn't look too good. And then like we start getting further into like downtown, a different part of downtown Miami where everything's closed. You see the bars. You start like solid bars over windows of shops and stuff like that. And then you see trash. Then you start seeing bums. Then you start seeing prostitutes. And then, oh, here's your hotel. And we're like, oh, my God, really, man? And we go in there, and it's just fucking terrible. Yeah. I mean, they did remodel it because I looked into it to see how bad it was now, but they did remodel it.
Yeah,
for whatever for whatever that's
put
worth.
Makeup on a dead horse.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like it was, oh man, 'cause, like they wouldn't let us get the room at first because he used his mom's credit card to get in.
Yeah,
and she wouldn't let us in. And 1 o'clock in the morning, downtown Miami, trying to get into this place, we can't. And then I let my dad know where we're at because I didn't even know where we were going until we got there. And I let my dad know, and then so he starts doing his research because he was worried, making sure that we got there because we were there so late. And we finally get everything figured out. We're in our room, and there's 3 of us. There's 2 twin beds, and it was just terrible. The sheets were dirty. There was like, we literally saw bugs, and then I get a call from my dad, and he's like, "Hey, I was like looking at these reviews of this place, and I don't think you guys should stay there." He goes, I'd throw you some money to go somewhere else. I was like, no, I mean, we got money. We could take care of it. We go somewhere else. And I talked to the other guy. He goes, yeah, dude, I'll pay for everything. Let's just go stay at a Marriott. And our other friend's like, no, I already paid for this. We got to stay here. And he's like, dude, I can't stay here. I don't want to stay here. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of open to it. And then I lift open the sheet off the one bed, and there's a giant fucking wet stain on the bed.
Oh man.
Boy. And I was like, I ended up just dying laughing because I was like, this is so terrible. It's hysterical. And then I start looking at the reviews, and there are people like, yeah, I got a hotel room, and there was just blood squirted on the wall. And then it's like, now I was reading all these things, and they were all true because we're sitting there looking at them. And I was like, this is funny. I was like, but I'm definitely not sleeping in this room.
How long ago was this?
Oh, this was, fuck.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
It was an Orange
Just
Bowl,
hold up
wasn't
a
it?
Yes, hypothetically, it was when WVU played Clemson, right?
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny. We ended up getting a new room, and it was the same thing, just like clean sheets. And so the next morning we get up, and then we're like, man, we got to find some bud. So I was like, all right, well, I'll get on that. I can definitely find that. And then I was like, went out there, and I just started talking. I found this little guy, Juan. He was there's a little parking lot behind our hotel that they use for like event parking. And he's just flagging people down to park there. And I was just like, he spoke very little English. And I was like, hey, can you find any green? He's like, okay. And I said, mota? And he's like, oh, shh, no. He's like, no. Because apparently that's like what white cops would say for weed. So like, and that's what I said. And he's like, no. And I was like, well, I just want to smoke some weed. And he's like, okay, hey, give me your money. I was like, well, I don't want to give you money. I was like, you're just going to take off. And he's like, no, just give me your money. I said, okay. And I gave him my money. And then he took off on a pedal bike and just went away. And then I was like, and then I went to the other guy.
That's the last he ever saw of Juan.
No, I saw Juan plenty more after that.
I'm just kidding.
But he went away, and I was like, what the fuck? Now I'm definitely out with this money. So I went over to the other guy who was flagging. I was like, is that dude going to come back, or am I out of my money? I don't want to just sit here and wait for him. He's like, no, he lives right there. You'll be fine. And he just like points to an alley, a one-way alley. 'Cause he lives there. He's
he lives
fine.
there in a box.
Yeah, he'll be
under
fine.
a cat.
Yeah. And then sure enough, he comes back, and he gives me fucking weed laced with coke. And I was like, he goes, you want? I said, I want good weed. And he goes, oh, primo. And I was like, sure, man, just whatever. Just like, and I was like, oh, fuck. And then I took it back to the people upstairs, and they're like, wait, does that mean you can get coke from this guy? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't think about it. I was like, probably. I don't know. And I went back down there. I was like, can you get any blow? And he's like, yeah. And how much you want? I was like, I don't know, just like a ball or something. He's like, okay, I'll be right back. He didn't take no money for that. He was like, I can get that. Like,
Easier than the weed. He
Yeah.
could go get the ball.
he had to borrow. He had to borrow $20 for some weed, but like to get something else, he could just go get.
Yeah.
And like he brought it back, and that was just hysterical.
That's a G right there.
And then so we kept. They're always like, well, we got to the point where he actually like his home was right behind our hotel, and when we open up our window, I mean we had our window open because it's January in Miami, so it's like perfect weather, and plus there was no AC in this fucking room either, so it was like worked out fine. And then, but he told me, he goes, all you have to do is just yell Coca, and then come on down and I'll help you. Like I literally just had to open up my window and just
Coca.
go, Coca, and little Juan go, oh no, go on. And then I just go in this one-way alley and meet up with little Juan. And it was funny, though, because we'd have our window open all night and day, and we'd hear cars pull up all night and day. And he's like, Coca! Just other people yelling, and you hear his little gate open, and he serves people and goes back.
Oh shit!
This dude's got it made.
Juan's
Yeah.
the best.
And then, but he had, like, it was a one-way alley. At the beginning of the alley, there was a gate, a metal gate, and you go through the gate, and I don't even remember anything to my left other than the very last room where he was at, and his room was a shower curtain. Like, his door was a shower curtain. His room was like a walk-in closet. It was like half the size of this, like widthwise, and lengthwise just a little bit further. And he had a shelf here, and he had a like, you know, those poolside chairs that like recline, and he had one of those right there as his bed with a couple pillows on it, and then there was just holes punched in the walls everywhere he'd stash stuff. And like
Like a fucking crackhead.
yeah, well, and that's where the crack comes in, because he was a crackhead. And I went down there for fucking coke, and then, but like he spoke very little English, and like I could converse with him a little bit. And then I remember this one guy came in, real tall, skinny, dark dude, and he was clearly a crackhead. Juan called him Negro. He just called him Negro.
Oh, Jesus.
And Negro would call him Juan, whatever that. But this guy knew fluent English and Spanish, so, and he was like our translator. Even though I had been like talking to Juan for like 3 days at that point,
Figuring it out.
but like yeah, just working through it. Where when he was there, he was just like blatantly telling, well, this is what he wants, and he's like, and he'd talk to Spanish to Juan, tell him like, well, this is what he wants, and he's just like going through. He's like, okay, and then they had their little exchange. Then they had fucking crack, obviously, because that's what that guy does, and that's what they both do. They just use crack together. And then they were just like, obviously smoking crack, and they're like passing to me. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know about this. And then Juan was like, "What are you, policia?" I said, "Juan, if I was policia, your ass would have been in jail a long time ago." And he just goes, yeah. And then I was like, all right, I guess. And I just remember
Like,
just
just to prove a point.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know how this works.
Yeah, and then they ended up ripping it, and then giving it back to them, and then I didn't take any other hits in that, and then I took what I wanted and left, and I went back up there, and I was like, dude, I can't believe I just fucking did that. And then they're like, well, then let's go get fucking drunk. That's fucking crazy. Let's just do this and go get drunk. And I was like, okay. And then I was just like all over the place. And just like, I mean, we were having a blast just bar hopping. I mean, but we're downtown Miami, and this, like, the shittiest part. We're literally stepping over bums to get into places, like, and it's super dingy. But every place was different, and it was, like, fun, just hopping around. And I remember we were just going out. Honestly, we just made our way closer to, like, Biscayne Bay. And then eventually when we're at the bay, the sun started rising, and we were at a bar on the bay drinking and shit like that. And like Miami, they can serve like 24 hours essentially, but
Damn.
but the establishment has to close for at least 1 hour, but an hour at their choice. So they could
Okay.
close 9 to 10 or 8 to 9
Yeah.
in the morning, or just whatever. Well, at least 1 hour they have to stop serving alcohol.
Yeah.
Close up, stop serving, and they can continue serving. So we're
Yeah.
just all over the place. It was just like, it was pretty fun though.
That's fucking awesome.
If one place shut down for an hour, the other one is still open. So you
Oh, there
can-
was always some place open.
So you can still bar hop
Yeah.
no matter what. That's fantastic.
We figured though, like 8 or 9 in the morning when the sun was coming up, like maybe we should stop. This has gone on too far.
Seems like a good time to call it quits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
because that was the first place we had ran into that was like, hey, we're closing. So I was like, okay, well maybe this is a sign. Maybe we should
Yeah,
close
this
too.
is a good
Yeah.
sign.
If
Yeah.
the sun's coming up and like you're still drinking and you don't have that acidity feeling in your throat,
You probably should
I mean-
just go to bed anyway.
like if that's ever
Yeah.
the case where if you've drank all night and well into the morning to where people are like, you gotta go now,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we were the last ones to survive, really, it was just like, okay. Even though we would like to continue.
When you have to close out a bar that only closes for an hour, it's time to go.
Yeah, so we did.
We're gonna hang out outside, smoke cigarettes till you reopen.
See you in an hour. I'm gonna go throw up in front of your door.
Yeah. No, it was pretty fun though, because I mean, I don't know. I would. In hindsight, I would never do that trip again. Even though all the fucking fun I had,
Yeah.
it was like kind of amazing. I made it out of there alive. Really.
It was one of
Yeah.
those been there, done that. I don't need to do it again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely.
Kind of glad you did it for the experience, but it's
Right.
like I don't have
Yeah.
to do that.
And there's a whole other part of that story that is even more hysterical that happened to my other friend.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even know if you guys really want to get into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so well,
Tell me a story.
all right. Well, our other friend, the guy that set up the whole trip, the one that was balling on the budget, we decided. I mean, when we were trying to find weed, we split up. I was like, "Well, you go, and I'll go this way." And I actually found somebody first, and I just found this random dude outside this corner store, real sketchy ass corner store, and I can tell like they probably have their issues there because I even went up to the dude. I was like, "Dude, I'm not." I was like, "I'm just trying to look for some bud. Can you help me out?" And he's like, "Well, you're not the cops, are you?" I was like, "Nah, dude, I just want a bag of weed. I don't care however much you can get. I just want something." He's like, "All right, well, will you stay right here?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll stay right here." And he's like, "All right, I'll be right back." And he left. And as I'm sitting there waiting for him, our friend calls, said, "Hey, I found some. Come on back." And I was like, "Well, fuck. I don't want to sit here and like, I just told this guy I'd cop this." And I was like, "You know what? Fuck it. He's probably going to do some shady shit anyway." So I was like, "I'll just go back to the hotel."
Yeah.
And we go back to the hotel, and there's this guy, Q. And he's there with this Milan bitch who has like, she speaks English, real thick accent though, and she's not from America. And Q had a little bit of weed, but he was just showing it to us. He was smoking with us. He wouldn't sell anything to our friend, but he's like, "Yeah, you give me $60 though, I'll get some for you." So he gave him $60. I mean, he smoked us up, and then like, he didn't get any weed, but he came back and did a bunch of blow with us, like
Yeah.
just started laying out rails for everybody. And like, we got our $60 worth, but we
Yeah.
didn't get what we were looking for. And that's the
Yeah.
one thing I realized from downtown Miami is like, no matter what you're asking for, you're gonna get cocaine. like,
One way or another.
like
That's
you,
going in
whatever you
Hey man, do you
think
know where
you're
I can
gonna
get
get.
some discount tobacco? Here's a rail.
Yeah, dude,
hang on,
give me
I got-
20. Give me 20. I'll give you some cocaine while you wait.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's
some tobacco laced with cocaine.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just constantly like that. So like, I mean, we got our money's worth from that whole situation, but then we never saw Q again. He just disappeared. And so like, we kind of like, he was kind of thinking he was out the $60 for the ganj, but I was like, well, I mean, he really did hook us up. Like, we all got some fat rails that one night, and he did smoke us up. And then one night we're in the hotel, we're like going to sleep. It's like 3 or 4 in the morning, and we just hear just boom, 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 just banging on our fucking door. And that's that Milan bitch. She's like, "What the fuck is that motherfucker? I know you in there. I know you in there. Let me the fuck in there." Like, and all our lights are out, and we're all just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
And then she was flipping the fuck out. And like, I mean, at this hotel, there's no security.
Yeah.
Nobody calls the police.
Right.
Like, if people are fucking shooting at each other, like, everyone just like, "Oh, don't worry about that." Like, so like,
That ain't us.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's-
already assumes this bitch is leaving in a carpet anyway.
yeah. So like, she is flipping the fuck out, and she was doing it for at least 20 minutes, like a good 20 minutes, because we didn't want her in. And then eventually I was like, "Dude, she's not going to leave. She's clearly not going to leave." I was like, "We got to let her in." And one friend was like, "No, we can't let her in." I was like, "Dude, she's just going to stay in there forever." I was like, "Just let her in. He's not in here, so we have nothing to fucking hide anyway,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter." And then we open up the door, and she just goes fucking psycho. Just ripping under shit, looking under beds, looking in the closet, looking in the shower, looking everywhere. And I mean, it's a small room. Like, it's not big at all.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Where the fuck is he? Where is he?" Blah, 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 just yelling at us. I was like, "Well, he owes him $60. We're looking for him, too. Like, we haven't seen him."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Well, I know you guys know where he's at. Call him. I know you know." I was like, "We don't even fucking know." And then we called, and then she finally realized that we didn't know, and then she was disappeared, and we never saw her again. And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
What was that about?
Yeah, that's exactly. No, we don't even know. We literally have no idea. We thought the same thing. We're like, what the fuck was that about?
Yeah.
Well, she
Like-
didn't even explain herself before
Nope.
she left.
She was just super psycho about finding Q and where the fuck he was at, and she didn't. I mean, like there was no talking to that lady. Like
Yeah,
it was
no.
like she was like I don't know. She was fucking hell bent on something.
Yeah.
And that's why we're like what the fuck? Because she was banging on the door for 20 minutes, and all she was saying is, "I know he's in there. I know he let me in there. Let me in there. I know he's in there." Just nonstop, just
Yeah.
banging, kicking, fucking hollering, just going crazy. And then when
Oh,
she
man.
and that's once she realized we had no idea, she just disappeared and never saw her again. And we're like, what the fuck,
Wow.
man?
Christ.
I was just saying that whole fucking. We were there for a week, and I swear it felt like a month. It was just like.
That's the longest fucking week ever.
It was a good week though. I mean, let alone the whole reason we went there was a fucking hit too. So it was like, it was just a perfect. Actually, we showed up early for New Year's Eve, and we actually. I mean, that was the day Q was feeding us a bunch of blow before he disappeared and never saw him again. We went.
dead.
Yeah. I assumed everybody I know from there is dead now. A part of me wants to go back to see if Juan's still in the same spot though.
Yeah.
Or if I could find someone that knows Juan, or if they could give me the
I bet
lowdown
Juan's
on him.
Facebook.
I don't think so.
Uh,
Motherfucker was lucky he had electricity, let
Yeah.
alone.
It sounds like Juan doesn't do social media. very well.
Yeah.
Watch Juan got his life
No. Yeah, I don't know. I remember he did tell me he had 1 daughter and 9 grandchildren, though.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
And she was pumping them.
Yeah.
I'm 38, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, he was a special character, but like I said, it was just like the whole fucking trip was pretty wild. It was fun though. But that's what I always noticed. So every time I'm in like sketchy ass areas, I have the best time ever. Like
Well, didn't
I
you
really
just
do
go to
though.
Vegas not long ago?
Yeah,
How was
No.
that?
That was good.
that was pretty similar to this Miami story you just told.
We're gonna split up.
Yeah. Well, actually, we stayed together, but accomplished the same thing, really.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally walking around. It just hits you in the face. People just walking around like, Coke? Anyone need Coke? I'm like, these have to be cops. I've never.
Well, that's the one thing, because
They put it on
in
the-
Miami it was like that too. When you get into the real popular areas, it was always like I mean, everybody's walking, and you'll catch random need Coke. People just say that as they walk by, and like sometimes you look at somebody, you're like, oh hell no, I'm not buying Coke from you, motherfucker. Like even just like almost they're like sometimes they look surprised you even look back at them. And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. It's like you had me at Coke, and then you lost me with that look, man. No. But yeah, I mean
No,
when
thank you, officer.
I mean, I guess it was on the Strip and down on in Old Vegas. Both of times, people were just like, "You need blow, you need blow."
It was definitely it was definitely more down Old Vegas.
The Old
at
Vegas, yeah.
Fremont
That happened
area.
every fucking 20 feet down
I know,
there.
it was fucked up.
Yeah, it was hysterical. It was even better once it went full circle, though. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
once because we eventually took the dive through our own means of.
Actually, no, we didn't. It came to remember One Piece or whatever the fucking dude,
One
the,
Piece.
the guy you call Patrick O'Neill,
Or, yeah, he looked like Patrice O'Neill.
Patrice
this
O'Neill,
guy.
yeah.
man.
Oh, that's
Like,
right.
that's
You
my
told,
hero.
yeah. You
but he's
told
like
us
a
this.
buffer Patrice O'Neill.
Yeah, it was weird, but he sounded like him. He was from the same region, like the Boston, New
Yeah.
Jersey region.
Cool
He
ass
was-
If you
dude
made him
too.
laugh and he went,
and that was how he laughed.
That was, yeah.
And he was hanging out with T-Rex, the drummer.
T-Rex, yeah, that's
This-
another thing.
this
You got to find
viral-
T-Rex on there.
drummer who has videos online
Who just has hands.
a deformity. Like, he doesn't have arms, he just has hands at the end of his torso.
Mm-hmm.
And he drums on buckets, and he's really fucking good.
Damn.
But they were hanging out, Patrice O'Neill and T-Rex, and we started talking.
Well,
to
yeah, I mean, the whole thing was me and him. Because I mean, weed's legal there, so we went and bought some joints or whatever.
yeah.
And then I was like, or he's like, I kind of want to smoke. I was like, yeah, we should do that. I said, let's go off the beaten path a little bit, and we just kind of did a loop around. And as we started making because it was coming down. We were about done with it, so we made our way back towards Old Vegas, and then we see T-Rex and Patrice coming at us,
yeah.
and they were smoking too. And so they started smoking with us. We started bullshitting with them, and
What T-Rex yell?
The
When's
first
the last time you got your dick? We were half a block away, and he
Yep.
said, "When's the last time you got your dick sucked?"
He was yelling at
He was
us.
yelling at us. It was like, "What?" And then we approached, and they're getting high, and then fucking just started passing around and getting high.
Yeah.
And I heard Patrice mention a couple times shit about selling blow and things like that. And he,
Because he was talking about he was in the game, but he's not no more.
yeah,
He
but he still
knows
knew
everybody,
people.
yeah.
So we asked him who he knew, and he took us to someone,
Who,
and
who was like the dude though?
who was the dude. And eventually, when we got stuff, we started doing stuff, and then I lost a whole bunch of it. But that's
That's neither here or there.
That's neither here nor there. But we after that we got approached even more to the point where I was like, we did the wrong. The police are mad at us. the police are mad. We beat their game, and then we started like observing all the people who would walk by and ask or be like, "Hey, Coke, Coke, Coke." They were all reporting to the guy that we had gotten it from. So Eric essentially, I still blame you, not blame you for this, but like, there's the cheat in Mario, in the first Super Mario World, where you can get to
just
the
scoop
end
up-
of
yeah.
World 8. And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just get. That's what Eric did with Coke, with Coke dealers in Vegas. Like he got to the boss, he got to Bowser, right at the fucking end.
Oh, that's funny. Oh man.
So I want to know.
But what-
Japanese kids?
Yeah.
45 seconds.
Yeah, the speed run. Just did this Vegas speed
The
run.
Vegas speeder. The best part about it though is like we noticed all the foot soldiers, and then we knew there was definitely a fall guy because there was a guy that looked identical, and we're like, doesn't that dude look seriously identical? Literally,
Yeah,
that was
that's-
fucking
he had the
crazy.
He had the same fucking braids, same
On
color
purpose and
shirt,
shit.
same chain, jeans, like and same build. Like he was definitely the fall guy.
Oh.
And it was
They
like,
collaborated.
yeah, like, but he was also asking us too.
We broke it down. I mean, we were standing up on that deck up on Fremont, like
Just
watching
watching,
everyone.
yeah.
Dude, that was crazy.
Did you guys ever smoke DMT?
I never have. I always wanted to, but never did.
I did one time.
yeah?
I might be able to. Allegedly, I might be able to again soon.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I smoked DMT. Dude, that shit changed my life for the better. Like psychedelics in general.
Yeah,
changed
they're
my
always
life for the
very
better.
good.
Yeah.
You know, mushrooms, LSD, all that. I think I think I got one more acid trip in me, but I'm done because I've got all I needed from that. Mushrooms.
That's
I'm
kinda
always
how I
gonna be on
feel.
that mushrooms.
I'm kind of like the opposite with that. I feel like I'm done with mushrooms. Like, I mean, I like them, but I don't.
You're not done with acid?
I would still do it, given the right scenario, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't
mean,
say that I'm done completely with it.
Right, I got you. But yeah, DMT. Okay, so here's my DMT story. It's and this is all fiction. Like I'm just lying to you guys right now. This is
You're,
just a
you're
story.
outside of the statute of limitations.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this shit happened a long time. It's really did happen a long time ago. So yeah, there was this Alex Emmert. He plays guitar for me now. One of my best friends.
Who's not real?
Who's not real. He's imaginary. But he knew this guy, and the dude didn't even give me... I couldn't even tell you the name he gave me, but we all understood that wasn't even his real name. It was some shit like Michael or Jim. Like, just
Generic.
definitely not his real name. And I don't need to know his real name, so I don't give a fuck. And I was over at my dude's house, and... well, he just, my friend hit me up and he just said, hey, I was coming home from, I don't even remember, I was coming home from Youngstown and I was like kind of done for the night, like just ready to hit the hay. My dude hits me up and he's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, man, I'm about to go to bed. I'm not even going to lie. And he's like, what if I said I had some direct access to Spirit Molecule right now? And I was like, I'm not going to bed anymore. I'll be over in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? I'm on 11. I'm already about 10 minutes away. I'm like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And, hypothetically, my older brother, who's totally a square, who has no idea what this is, as far as he knows, this is ultimate heroin. And I'm like, And I'm just like,
That is the dragon they are all chasing.
yeah. I'm like, and hypothetically, I'm like, Blake, I gotta do something. And he has no idea what's going on until I pull in. And he's freaking out the whole time. Like, he won't even look at me. Like, he's fucking pissed. And yeah, my friend, I go to my friend's driveway, and the dude comes in the car, and, hey, my name's fake name. Nice to meet you. And I'm like, hi, my name's fake name. Not even Leroy. Nice to meet you.
You don't want to give him that much.
Yeah, I won't even give him Leroy. And he pulled out a crack pipe, and he pulled it out, and he stuffed it, and I'm like, this is the moment, and he's like, man, I think I packed a little bit much in there, but don't worry, you're not gonna take this whole hit. Don't worry about it. Well, I took the whole hit, and he was just like, I just remember because when I went like, and I did everything, I heard him go, whoa. That kind of freaked me out a little bit. But as soon as I went, the second I went, I was at the peak of like the most intense acid trip ever. Like immediately. And like I kind of closed my eyes, but I didn't. That's, I guess, the trick is you're supposed to keep your eyes closed the whole time. And I didn't know that at the time. But like I felt like my hand could just go through the steering wheel. And I saw this cat walk by, and like I saw its aura, and like it was just like these fucking, like, the trees were just dancing for me and shit. And then like, after 10-15 minutes I came down and I was fine. But I don't know, I guess the moral of the story is if anyone ever offers you to do some DMT, do it. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah,
I could
I
do
But
10 or
also
15 minutes.
also keep your eyes closed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, somebody did have it, and they offered some to me, but it was just a little bit, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you probably tripped pretty hard for 10-15 minutes.
It was just a sprinkle on top of a bowl.
Oh,
and, like,
see, I hear that's the worst way to do it too.
well, there's nothing for me to report.
Yeah.
There
There you go.
I mean,
Yeah, I
obviously, I didn't think it was going to work anyway because he told me what he had done, but he didn't want to sell it, but he also didn't want to like give it away either.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, I'll just give you
And it just wasn't even a significant
anything.
amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, because that shit is so rare.
Right.
So running into
and it was
is-
expensive too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
at that time, I mean that was fucking years ago, so I don't even know.
Yeah. From what I understand, it's like it's about Coke prices at the cheapest.
Yeah, that sounds about
So,
right. Yeah.
That's lame. I
Yeah.
mean, if I get the answer to life.
Dude, that
Yeah.
documentary though about it was pretty fucking awesome.
The one with
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
See, I was
Yeah.
so into that
But
documentary at the time.
they shot those people up with it though, which is
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
which is
Clinical trials. Yeah, they had them
Yeah.
like
That's
in a
right, they
hospital with
did.
an IV. It was like government mandated trials.
Oh, they're just dripping them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, there was some people who had never, like, they did everything from people who have never done it before to people who were regular users.
Yeah.
And the guy who had the most was this yoga instructor.
He could just go
And
balls
they
deep.
gave him as much as possible. And then he's like, I still don't feel anything. So they gave him even more than I think was even supposed to be allowed. And he just like, and he like sat up and he's like in hospital restraints and he like shoots up and his eyes dilate to where his eyes are like black almost. And he just fucking, and he describes it in the documentary. But yeah, DMT is, I there's drugs that I do for fun, like alcohol. I just do that for fun. But then like, really like, weed helps me deal, and it's not an escapist thing. It's not forgetting all my, because I don't forget my problems. If anything, my problems are put under a microscope when I get high. But I learn how to deal with them and cope with them in a healthy, responsible way. But when it comes to psychedelics, I mean, I look at it as learning. It's a learning experience every time. Every time I do psychedelics, I go into it with like a real douchey spiritual sense, But yeah, psychedelics, and it's not something I want to do all the time either.
well, yeah, no.
Like I never crave psychedelics, but it's like, man, I feel like I need to learn something now, and I feel like this will help me, like, at least reach parts of my mind that I'm not able to access any other way.
I feel like with psychedelics, it always comes to they just find me when I need them.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
And, like,
same here.
I
yeah.
won't. I
Weird
won't
situation.
see them. I
Yeah.
won't see them for a long time,
and it's
and I
not,
don't
oh,
want to
they're
do
around,
them.
Now I want them. It's
And then they would just
man,
find
I could
me,
really
and it
use
was all
some,
good.
and then boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And it always works out pretty well. I wouldn't say I always learn something though when I do, because sometimes it's all fucked up. And
Well, last time I did acid, I felt like I just laughed my ass off for 6 hours, which was fine. But then I can't sleep for another 12 to 20
I hate
hours
trying
after
to
I'm done.
Freaking sleep on.
Acid.
Hal-
Shrooms,
or
that's why I love
hallucinogens.
shrooms. Because if I do a small amount of shrooms, then it's like a really good acid trip. If I do a lot of shrooms, I see God. But like, no matter where I'm at with shrooms, once I'm down from shrooms, it's bedtime, dude. I can go straight to sleep.
Yeah.
I have never, like, every time I do acid, it's like I'm going to be up for about 36 hours at least.
Yeah, like mushrooms are exhausting. Like it's like, oh, that took so much out of
Yeah,
it. It's
it
fucking
helps you sleep.
bedtime.
Feels so long.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not though.
It's
but
not even that long.
It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I've
felt
always
like 3
preferred
days.
mushrooms to acid.
Last time I did shrooms, it was about 4 hours.
Yeah,
Oh
4
god,
to
not
6.
me. I went real hard, and then I think I started probably about 10 o'clock, and like by the time I came down from the worst thing that's ever happened to me,
Yeah.
I was like, "What time is it?" And she's like, "It's barely midnight."
Wow.
Like,
That's
sucks.
crazy because I've actually only done shrooms twice. Once, I ate a quarter.
Oh fuck.
The second time, I made tea out of a quarter, but shared it with 2 other friends.
That's still.
Yeah,
decent
but
bit.
the quarter lasted. I couldn't tell you how long that lasted. I literally left my body. Like they say, no, I left my fucking body, dude.
Do you remember doing tea all the time?
Yeah, I hated
I've
it.
told these guys like
I
multiple
never
times
had
now.
tea.
I've gone to like other places in the world from drinking tea
that
compared
because
to
that
just
shit was
fucking-
Russision roulette. Because there was
It really
sometimes we
was.
would make it and a dose would be like 2 grams, and
Yeah.
then sometimes we'd make it and there's probably like 10 grams.
I would
per
just I
serving
would
in
drink
there.
it. 20 minutes later, I'd just fucking violently puke.
See, I've
And
never
then-
puked
and
on
then
shrooms.
I
I heard
will
that's
see it
normal, but I
eating
never
them.
have yet.
Yeah, they'll make you nauseous, but
Yeah.
eating them, I'll scruff them down.
Yeah.
No issue. That
Yeah.
fucking tea, is puke.
I remember the one time drinking that tea that fucked us all up, and I had my feet on my house trying to hold it up and fucking. Oh, that
That's the
was
time
bad.
I puked in your yard, and I was just like, as soon as I picked my head up, I was just like, yeah.
Dude, the tea I made, and maybe it's because I'm like borderline alcoholic that I was able to hold my puke in. But the tea I made, the only jar I had was like minced garlic jar.
Oh my god.
And so I
Oh,
dumped
no.
out the rest of my minced garlic, and I
Oh.
washed it out 2 or 3 times. Apparently not enough.
honey, no.
And when I made the tea,
Oh,
I
no.
poured it in the garlic, and when I drank it, it was like garlic. And I love garlic, but like not like that.
you
You
can
know?
put it in a
I've been-
dishwasher 5 times. I think
It's gonna
Yeah, that's
fucking
true.
smell like garlic. It
Do you
tastes
remember?
Like garlic.
Do you remember that Dante kid?
I do
Do you remember
remember.
that fucking?
Get away from me!
Oh my god.
I was tripping real hard, and this fucked
We
up
both
neighbor.
were. We both
Everyone
were.
was tripping.
But he was not.
he
that
wa-
kid
oh
was-
yeah,
that
that
kid
kid
was not.
wasn't. But he
and
was just
he
real
wrecked
fucked
your
up.
life.
Yeah,
He
and
fucking ruined your life.
I just
and-
started looking at him. Get away from me!
Now
Sound like
watch,
a bird.
I mean, he's like, he's going hard, and he's like, "Hey, Chris," and then he's coming in like way too hot
Just
for
way-
us.
yeah,
way
yeah.
too hot for us. And what are you doing? What's wrong with you, man? Get away from me!
Talking to him like that.
And I'm standing watching this, and I'm just going. "Ah." Like, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Your bad time is just fucking. I'm just.
Well, the dude thought it was hilarious too. That I was
I
acting
thought it was
so-
hilarious.
Yeah, it was bad.
You
I knew
did
this,
not.
I knew this one dude who he had to be intentionally bad at trip sitting because there's no other way to describe it. He had to like
That dude that
strive to
watched
be
us?
bad.
Well, this
Yeah,
was-
that
this-
fucking dude.
We had no trip sitter, so
Oh,
like
you
this.
You honestly,
Well, this
you
is-
should
we
have
were-
a trip
we were, like,
sitter who is
18,
into
man.
tripping.
Yeah.
Like if you have a trip sitter, it should be someone who is into tripping and shit.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
respects their position.
Absolutely.
As the
Now I
sitter.
would do that. but-
Yeah.
At the time, we were 18. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Yeah.
That's that's a learning experience.
It is a
through-
learning
through
experience because we
hallucinogenics.
used to
It's-
go into-
setting is huge.
We
with
used-
hallucinogenics.
Dude, we used to go in public and shit, and we'd be like,
never went out in public.
we'd be like, why are we
Yeah.
having
I
such a
never
bad
have, I
time?
never
And it's
will.
like, get the fuck out of public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
One
why
time-
you're having.
actually, no. One
Stop
time I
driving
wasn't-
cars and hallucinating.
One time I was in public. It was the first time. It was the second time I did acid, but it was the first time I tripped. Because the first time I did acid, it was bunko shit, and I only did 1 tab. The second time, though, I was like, and I did 3 tabs, and it turned out to be good shit. And I remember, like, as fast as I started tripping, I left, and I just started walking. This is when I lived downtown Liverpool. And I just started walking, and then, like, I walked around. I don't know if you guys are really familiar, but I walked, like, up to Trinity Church through the parking lot, and then down, like, there's this gate there that you can climb through, and then I walked back down my street, and then I opened my door, and there was this friend that, like, we're still friends, but, like, we were, like, having an argument. I opened the door, and he was there, and I closed the door, and I started walking again. I think you were there.
Yeah, it was night I got stuck behind a drum set.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I also had the LSD, and I just could not get out from behind that drum set. But I
Help
was-
me, please.
Oh, not like figuratively.
No,
like,
I'm stuck.
okay.
And I was sitting there, and I would, like, I kept drinking, and I had bottle caps, and I'd ping them off the cymbals, and I'd go,
But yeah, I ended up like walking in, and then the dude who like, he was like, "Oh, there he is." He throws a party and he leaves, and I was like, "Bad vibes." And I closed the door and I started walking again.
no thanks.
And
I'll try another door.
Which fuck him for that, because he knew what was going on. But and then I had my other friend come down and just like, dude, like, you're not walking alone. Like, if anything else, you're not walking alone. We made it to downtown by Giant Eagle, and that's when like another dude who wasn't tripping or anything was like, dude, get the fuck in the car. Like, I was like, oh, hold on, I gotta use the bathroom. Just like you're getting kicked out of the bar, you gotta have that one victory. I gotta use the bathroom. Can I use the bathroom?
Can I use the bathroom?
I walked
I'm
through.
sorry. I thought this was a public establishment. Can I use the bathroom? You're just that prick that won't fucking leave.
Yeah. And I walked through Giant Eagle, and everything is so white.
Oh, yeah.
And as I'm walking, fucking my one friend who's just a goof ass starts like, I don't know where he got scissors, but he got scissors, and he just like clipped off just a little bit of my hair. I'm hearing it, and I'm like, the cops are gonna see that tomorrow and test my hair and know that there's LSD in my system. But I didn't give a fuck. And I went to the bathroom, and that was so aggressively white, and my piss was so aggressively yellow. And then I walked out, and then I had to buy cigarettes. And I'm in the line, and have you guys ever seen the movie The Warriors?
No.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
long time ago. Yeah.
Do you remember the scene where it's like almost the end of the night, and they're riding the subway back to Coney Island, and they're all like dirty and beat up and scabbed up, and then there's like these prom couples who and then they see that it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And they get all quiet and they get off at the next stop. That's what the people were like in front of me. Like, I was a warrior and they were just some fucking civilians. Really, they were probably meth heads or something, but in my mind, because they looked at me and they were like, oh, and like the fucking, and then like when I went up to the dude on the counter, I was like trying to make eye contact with him the whole time, like, what's up, boy? Like, what's up, buddy? How you doing tonight? And he won't look at
Pupils
me.
are
He's like, I'm
fucking
good. And he
huge,
rings up
like-
my cigarettes. I'm like, peace, brother. And I leave. And then we
Here's
go
these
up.
papers.
Yeah, yeah. And then we go out to where I was living at the time, and we listened to some fucking Pink Floyd, and then we watched what's it called? Something. Oh man, this fucked up YouTube video, and then yeah, that was that. But
Nice.
that was the first time I tripped on acid. But it wouldn't be
And
the
I was there.
last.
Yeah. it would
Yeah,
be
you were there.
nice.
I remember that one time we did acid at your house.
Dude, we have Theo there, and he's tripping, and it's just not for him.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And like it's
He's
just, it's
not
not
at
his thing. And
He can't handle it.
dude, he will not stop chain smoking and drinking water. I have no idea why. It's just that was his like binky for some reason. And finally, like, he gets so much water and nicotine in him, he starts vomiting. In the midst of his first acid trip.
Oh man.
So he's like clutching a
Jesus Christ.
bag and like a cup of water, and like he just keeps puking in it and taking a drink.
That's no good.
Oh.
So finally he goes into the kitchen, which is dimly lit, and he just starts throwing up in the garbage can. And someone comes and gets me and AJ, and I'm gonna say we were just staring at a TV playing something, I don't remember. And we walk in there, and AJ goes, "Oh, Theo, are you dying?" "Yeah, you're dying." And everybody just looks at him and goes, "Oh, we all know that's wrong. Like, we don't understand anything right now, but we know what you said was bad." We're talking about when you asked Theo if he was dying.
Oh, you dying? Yeah, you're dying.
But he's freaking the fuck out.
Because he actually thinks he's dying now.
Right.
Then I have to walk in there like some expert and be like, "No one's ever died." He's like, "Okay."
Yeah, and that's the thing, because I walk in, and you got to think where he's at mentally is like, dude, I'm puking because he smoked about 30 cigarettes in 10 minutes.
He's clearly
and kept chugging
uncomfortable.
water.
He's clearly
And
uncomfortable
he's
way before the
puking, and he
puke.
doesn't know what's
I
going
don't
on.
feel
and
well.
like his
Yeah.
one anchor, the dude he's known for fucking ever, walks in and goes, "You dying?"
Yeah,
"Yeah, you're dying." And I walk the fuck out. That's
You
probably,
abandoned him right
that's probably like the worst friend act I've ever done.
It might have been.
That definitely was.
that is pretty terrible.
And in my mind, I'm just like, he needs to know. Like,
Shortly after that, also the worst hallucinogenic sitter we've ever had that we were talking about
that
before.
motherfucker.
Someone goes, "I want to go outside." It's fucking January, mind you.
Dude,
There's
it's
about
like
6 inches of snow on the ground. You
Even
got-
probably more because I walked through that shit both ways. That was probably more than it was like a foot.
and this
easy.
dude just opens the fucking door for him.
yeah,
It's like,
Later.
go.
yeah. I remember when that dude, another friend of mine, was tripping balls on mushrooms. And
This guy's just an asshole.
yeah, and my.
Well, it sounds like at this point you guys are the assholes for keep letting him babysit you.
Well, this is the thing. He wasn't even trying to like babysit. He's like, "Oh, let me hang out." Like he fucking fucks his way into like being in our fucking experience.
He doesn't want to do them, but he doesn't want to.
He's like, "Oh, you guys are
Yeah.
doing drugs again? All right,
Yeah,
let me-"
and then so like dude who's like out of his gourd on mushrooms. I unfortunately was not, but he just keeps going. "What day is today? What day?" And it's like you just gotta. It's Friday, man. It's okay. You don't gotta work tomorrow. Like everything's all right. That's how you're supposed to handle someone who's like starting to freak out. And he starts yelling at him. "It's Friday. We've told you to." And I'm like, "Dude, chill the fuck out." So he goes downstairs, writes on a piece of paper that says it's Friday, and takes a knife and stabs it into the wall. And I immediately grab the knife. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? You know better." And he's like, "Oh, I wasn't there." I was like, "Shut the... Dude, you're older than me. How are you this retarded?" Like, this dude's a little shit stirrer, though.
What a fucking
Sounds
dick
like it.
nose.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I got mad stories on him that I won't even tell on here. He's a little shit stirrer, though.
We'll fucking share him as the days pass.
Yeah.
Everyone's
yeah.
gonna
Time
give me a new
Yeah,
progresses.
next time I'll be like, "And another thing."
Shit.
Some good old Dick Stain stories throughout the
Oh, yeah,
episodes.
pepper
That'll-
'em in.
that'll be good. Yeah, pepper it in.
Hey, Jay, will you get me a water?
Yeah. You want one too? Or?
No, it's fucking empty. I was
I
like,
think the last time I tripped, I don't even know what the fuck I took. I mean,
really?
yeah, it was a mysterious water bottle of like
I
a
remember
chalky
that.
blue
Was it
mixture.
like? Do you think it was ketamine?
No, I don't think so.
I've never done ketamine. I heard
Um,
about it, but
It was
I
that camping trip you were on.
yeah, that was, and I was tripping so fucking hard. That's the hardest I've ever tripped in my whole life. I don't even know what the fuck it was.
You don't think it was mushrooms?
I mean, that's what I thought it was,
Yeah,
but it lasted way too long.
really.
Yeah.
What's your story of your hardest, worst, fucked up trip?
The trip things. There's a lot of them. I remember one time in high school. Generally most of my trips have been okay. Right after the part where I was talking to that kid, I think you drove me to. Someone had to go to work, and Josh was driving me. That might have been a separate incident, though, too. I saw cop lights.
Oh,
and
no.
the first time I saw a cop light,
That was me and you, buddy. We
Yeah.
were driving, and we got back to your house. We were out of the car at this point. We were sitting in that duplex when you lived on that duplex on
Yeah.
Overbrook Drive, and we were standing on your porch or in the yard. I think in the yard. And we were looking down at that stoplight on Cove Road, and a cop just ran the light with his lights on, and it fucking ruined your life.
Oh,
well,
dude.
that was the
It ruined
second.
your
That
life.
was the second
I
cop
could
car
only
I saw.
imagine.
The first one I tolerated because
Well, there
I
was
saw.
no. It was just a cop car, but there was no lights. There was nothing.
Okay, so I
There
just
was
saw a cop
nothing-
car, and then I
Yeah,
saw
there was
the
no
red
bad
and blues.
shit.
Walk into my house, turn all the fucking lights off, turn everything off. I'm like, listen, we have to be quiet. The cops are fucking coming.
Yeah.
They're coming right
Yeah.
now. I spent the next 2
Because it
fucking
takes
hours.
more than
It was
10
bad.
minutes to get from
It was-
eyesight to
It was
here.
bad. I think I left. I don't know where I went.
Were you?
I
tripping
went.
also?
Yes, I went somewhere because then I came back and you're in the house and you're still. Shut the door!
completely dark.
Shut the door!
Completely dark.
He's running around.
12 inches in front of an air conditioner that is blowing on my face.
The
Like,
only
the
light
cops
that's
are coming.
the only light that's in the room was your computer monitor. I'm pretty sure just that was the only thing lighting the whole house was like the computer monitor in your bedroom.
Yeah, I think.
And
That's
so it
right.
was just like this weird, like just
Was
blue.
it nighttime
just
or?
glue.
It was
It was
nighttime. It was
nighttime.
like 9, 10 at night. It was summertime.
So you were thinking the cops think that no one's home and.
Or I don't fucking know what that one
Dude,
one's
I mean,
spotty to
it
me
was
because I was
quiet.
tripping so hard that it's kind of spotty. I remember turning all my lights off.
All the lights were off.
The other bad one was driving your fucking car through Kings Creek.
Yeah, but
The
that you didn't go to the dark place. I did.
No, but I knew I shouldn't have been driving a goddamn car. And then I knew we were kind of stuck out in the middle of Kings Creek. I was like, I don't want to drive back into town hallucinating. Like, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, no.
I was already. There was no me driving. There was no. It was just we stopped at that fucking ice cream shop.
Yeah,
And
and
there
I
was
tried
those
to get people to
people-
pick us up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then there,
no one
there were
would.
people
The
like
place by, like,
way
Carruthers
down the
Road.
road. Yeah. Way down the road. They were sitting on their front porch, probably just drinking, carrying on. But like, I'm looking at him and I'm just like, listen, they know. They fucking know we got to get out of here.
Yeah,
we
it was
got to
like-
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he kept saying that. That was a
It
nerve
was-
wracking
it
one.
was- it was so bad. They were
It does not
these
sound like
drunk
a
guys.
good
I don't even think
time.
they were aware of what we were doing, but I was
Oh, absolutely
I was
not.
so sure that they were talking about
Paranoia
us-
is real when you're hallucinating.
Oh,
me
dude.
Like,
specifically. I was like, they're gonna fucking kill me or something. I got to get out of here.
yeah.
I remember
It's bad.
probably the only other time I tripped in public. This is like, I'm probably about 19, 20 years old. And I was really getting into psychedelic worlds. Like, I still am, but it's like a much deeper level. Like, it's a ritual. It's spiritual to me. It really is as fucked up as that sounds. It's like spiritual for me. And it was then too, but like I don't think I appreciated it as much. Anyhow, you know, I'm up at the, you know, playing shows fucking just about every weekend up in like Akron and Cleveland. And there was this band that we did a lot of shows with. They were like, they're unfortunately no longer a band anymore, but like they were like our brother band, you know, like we were fucking down with all them. And I was talking about psychedelics with them, like, yeah, I'm into this, and they're like, oh yeah, well, mostly their singers, like, oh yeah, me too, yeah, I do that stuff too, and I'm like, oh yeah, word. So one day we all have a show in Cleveland, in the Flats, and I brought up, I had like 6 hits of acid with me. Because what I would do back then is I would buy a 10 strip because I like knew the plug. I would buy a 10 strip for really cheap. I'd do 4, sell 6, make money. You know what I mean? So I had, you know, I already did the 4 a while ago, and I had the 6 laying around. It was appropriate amount of time to where now I can trip again. So I bring the 6 tabs with me, and I'm just like, hey, guys, I got this. And then it immediately turned into, oh, I better ask my girlfriend. Oh, I don't know. She's got anxiety, and it's like, you know, it's funny how like when the shit comes out, how people change, you know. But so like I put him in my hand. I'm like, oh, you sure? Like and like we're all in a circle talking. Me and like a bunch of dudes not even involved. I'm like, man, are you sure? And the dudes and there's other dudes like, holy shit, and I'm just like, are you? And he's like, no, man, I'm good. And I'm like, immediately just pop the shit in my mouth, and they're like, huh? So and then Emmert does the other 3 with me, and we start walking, and he called earlier. He's like, I feel like this is a place where train tracks would be. I was like, that's retarded. Nobody says that. Sure enough, we take him, and we walk down a couple blocks, and sure enough, there's fucking train tracks. And he's like, ugh! And by now, we're tripping. And then, like, we're all being loud, like, oh, this is good shit. And we turn around, and it's next to a factory, and there's some dude obviously on a smoke break just looking at us. And we're like, oh, yeah, that beer's really good. Like, trying to cover it. We go back to the club, and one of the worst bands I've ever played with goes on, and it was just a beautiful tragedy. And so we running back to Liverpool listening to fucking 9 Inch Nails. And my brother's fucking with me the whole time. I don't know. But that's the last time I'll ever trip in public. I can't do that shit anymore.
Yeah, I've never done it once, and I don't plan on doing it.
I wouldn't, man. You're not missing out on
No,
anything.
tripping in public.
It's
Oh,
a
tripping in public.
terrible
No,
idea.
Yeah,
It's
you're
a
not missing
terrible
out on
idea.
anything.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No,
You
I've
normally,
seen-
like,
I've
for the
seen Fear
longest
Love.
time, it took me a long time to do hallucinogens with people. Like, the first thing I would do, like, even with friends, just like a small group of friends, first thing I'd do, I'd get them, and I'd just go in my room, turn off the lights, and eat them.
Yeah.
And then just, like that one, like, that time when you would always have them,
Yeah.
I would just, you're like, here, do you want this? Like, yeah, I'll take that. And I'll just go home, and I just go in my room, turn off the lights, and eat it. And just, like, weird shit would happen. And I'm like, this is pretty fucking crazy. But then, like, but I wasn't, like, I was not comfortable enough to be around people. Like, I was like, I wasn't
comfortable
about
enough
it.
to do around my friends, but like,
I was too. I think I almost preferred it.
Yeah.
But
I
I feel
was-
like I should have tried that first.
I just think my closest
I would
friends
Just be
weren't,
alone.
they weren't as too in tune with it, where they were just like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. But they had, like, no
I would
idea,
hate
like,
myself now.
Hey, drugs!
yeah, it wasn't like, they didn't really know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to get myself into that situation either.
Yeah, that's kind of where I started was, the people, I basically lived in a trap house for about a year. And it was just like bring drugs and trade drugs. It wasn't like nobody was really making money. We were just all had access to drugs.
Then we'd
We
go
just
and
share
do
'em.
drugs.
Yeah.
We just go.
So I don't know if it was a trap house or if it was like a hippie commune. But,
Yeah.
but
There's definitely some EDM going on.
It was
Yeah.
it was a
Dude,
trade
constantly.
compound.
yeah, and it was a good time. But, that part of my life's over. But
Moved on.
Hypothetically,
Yeah, but that was
Moved on
everybody
to the
else.
trap
It was
house.
like, oh, because back then I was like, dude, Coke is so pointless because you don't gain spiritual growth. So why would you put that into your body? Like that's been my out, and that's kind of still is my outlook on things. Like if I'm not gonna grow, other than like beer,
Beer, yeah.
Yeah.
alcohol.
I've never had anything spiritual happen from beer.
Yeah,
Like praying that the fucking room quits spinning.
yeah.
Like if that counts. Like,
Yeah.
I've reached some pretty strange levels on liquor though.
Really?
Yeah, not really spiritual, just some crazy shit that I've been doing. But
I remember.
Your crazy shit's my favorite crazy shit.
it's pretty interesting.
Say yes.
I was just saying probably the best times of my life I'll never even know happened because I've spent like for a solid 2 to 3 years. I spent about 5 to 6 days out of the week blackout drunk for at least 3 hours.
What's your favorite
Yeah.
story about yourself that you don't remember?
Is that a trick question? Like I don't remember. I don't know.
You've been told.
Oh, I'm trying to think.
I got one that you could probably piece together.
Okay, well here you tell. I mean, I don't really remember. Because normally
No,
when people
this is me telling a story of something I've heard of
Of
you
me?
that
Okay.
you probably have more insight to
okay, well
than what I heard.
let me just tell this one real quick because like this is the only one that comes to my head. I
Play
mean,
the hits, Eric.
there's I mean yeah. There's been so many. Normally when people tell me them, no matter they're good or bad, I just instantly forget them because I'm like, yeah, I don't need to know that. But
See,
like
I'm
I
the
remember
same way. I don't want to hear it.
But I remember one time I was drinking all night, and then but there was the one thing that we would always do because I used to party at this one little fucking shitty ass house right by a convenience store, right by a place that would sell food, and it was but that area was right in between my house and downtown. So like I was either partying there or I'd stop there. But typically what we would do, we'd go to that food place when we're drunk, and they're like, they would just yell out orders and put them on the table because they're so busy, and we just go take them and run out. And so like I end up getting blackout drunk, and like I said, this is all things I've been told, and I go into this this fucking place, this typical. I just grab food off the counter and walk out, and then I just stand outside of the place eating the fucking food. And then somebody must have been like, he took the food, and then the guy just comes out of nowhere and just tackles me from behind. And then apparently I get pissed off about it. And then like,
What have I done?
yeah, so but I end up picking up some of the food and start eating it, and then like off the ground. And the guy, I guess, told me, he's like, "Don't ever come back here again. Don't fucking steal from me." And I was like, "Whatever, fuck you, man," and just walked away. And I guess a couple of my friends saw me. I was hiding in a bush with a rock, and I was like, "I'm just waiting till there's no cars. I'm gonna smash these fucking windows in this place." And they're like, "No, dude, you're coming with us."
See, your friends are better than mine because my friends would have been like, "Do it, faggot."
Yeah, no,
You won't. You won't.
See, those are the friends I normally go out with, but then once I get blackout drunk, I leave everybody that I'm with. I just
you gotta make
disappear.
new friends.
Yeah, I go make new friends.
And that's how you become the
Oh, I
plug
do.
of Las
Oh,
Vegas.
there's another part of that, but I can't. That's like too fucked up.
Can't do it.
Yeah,
Tell me later. It'll be funny.
yeah, maybe.
That's what you call an off mic story.
Yeah.
That what's the there? See, I've heard a handful as well, but that like your
Oh,
stories
boy.
are great because when you hear them, most of the time people tell drunk stories and you're like, "Oh, that's sad." Like, but yours are like, "Holy shit, that's fucking crazy."
Yeah.
More.
Yep.
So you pissed in an ice machine in
Oh,
Morgantown.
I do remember that one. Okay, so all right. Well, this is when I was in Morgantown every fall, right at the beginning of the year, they have a fall fest. It's a fucking giant ass concert. It's right behind the mountain lair, and they usually have some big names there too. And we were there. I actually brought a friend that was like from Pittsburgh to come down, and so naturally I went extra hard because I'm like trying to show him a good time.
Yeah.
And so like we get heavily intoxicated, and then like we're sitting there at the concert, and like people started leaving the concert, and because I mean it was like an EDM band, Cascade. I don't know if any of you guys know them. I mean,
That sounds familiar.
I wasn't very
Does sound familiar.
I wasn't
Yeah.
very familiar with them either,
I'm
though,
not
at the
real into
time
EDM,
or
but
even
I got
now.
friends who are,
At a minute,
yeah.
I mean, I wasn't for a time frame, but even at that time frame, I didn't know who this band was
Right.
or this group was, and or these DJs, and like I guess a lot of people didn't either because the venue just emptied out and it just spilled out into the street behind, and right behind that is just like frat row and it's just giant mansions, frat houses,
Right.
and like they're fucking going crazy, and like it's bumping over there, and my friend, like to the point where we're at a show and we turn around and we're like, we should go over there. And I was like, dude, I've never been over there. I don't know. I was like, but yeah, we can go try. And we go to this one place, and it was like 2 levels to the party essentially. Like they had the inside, and then they had the outside, which was just the driveway and a garage. And the only thing that's separating it was a fucking little orange fence, like those little orange like netting fence. It was only like this big. That's what was separating. That was the barrier. And like they wouldn't let us inside because I was like, dude, I gotta fucking piss. And they're like, no, you can't go inside. It's only for fat guys only, or all this like dumb shit. And I'm like, okay. I was like, I'm gonna get in this fucking house. Like
Right.
now you're really testing me, and I will get in this fucking
yeah,
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Now you fucked up.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. And I went down to the driveway, and I stepped over that fucking orange little shitty fence and walked straight through the front yard and walked in the front door. And then just like, and then I just started, I had no idea where I was going. It's a big house, and it was just like weird little shit going on. And so I just started walking. I find the kitchen. I'm like, okay. I was like, I'll get a drink. And I like try to look for a drink, can't find a drink. And I just see this giant ice machine. And I was like, okay, this is happening. And I just lifted it open. And I vividly remember pissing around the whole edge and zigzagging in between the whole fucking thing. I had to piss really bad. So I let it rip the whole fucking thing in this commercial-sized ice machine. And I was like, oh, yes. Boom, closed it.
Win.
And then they were like, how'd you get inside? I was like, don't worry, I'm going. And they just left. And
Oh god.
I told my friend, I was like, hey, we got to go. Like,
You know, it was a good couple hours before anyone.
that
figured
piss
that
probably
out.
froze by the time
That's
they.
what I'm saying. Someone had to chip piss out of that machine. That's so. Oh, it's so incredible.
I wish there was I wish I
You
could
know, and that's
follow
the
up
thing.
on
If
that
they would have
story.
just let you use the fucking
I would have pissed in a
bathroom.
toilet.
Yeah, but they're being fucking cocksuckers.
So I had to piss
about
in
it.
their ice
You're
machine
not
about
a
it.
goddamn animal.
Yeah, I could have pissed outside, but there were so many people outside. Like, and there's always like campus police and
Yeah.
actual police and
Yeah, you don't want people pulling
security.
your
And,
dick out.
I bet
Yeah.
public urination's like a fucking regular court case there.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they just let people go. Like, you can't be doing that. And,
I've
and
seen
then
people get busted for smoking in that area you're talking about.
Yeah.
In those roads, just cops popping down alleys. Like, what are you doing down here? And
Yeah.
if they smell weed, they'll approach you and fuck with you.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was a good little story. I was just saying, there's a lot of those that I just forget about, and no
Yeah.
particular reason. Like, that's not a very bad story.
No,
You know
it's
what I mean?
not. But it's a good one.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
but those are things I just forget. I'm just
See,
like,
yeah.
eh,
I wish I
whatever.
would have known you when I was a train wreck.
Oh, I don't know.
Aw.
We could
My
have had
heart.
fun, man.
Yeah.
I was a goddamn animal.
I would have just left you at one point, and then you would have been an animal by yourself, and I would have been an
Oh, no,
animal
I'd
by
found you
myself.
eventually.
Yeah, possibly. That's like the all the stories usually start with blackout, phone dead, and
Yeah,
then that's
phone
when
dead.
and that's when everything goes
It's fucking Angry
awry.
Birds, God damn it.
Yeah,
That's when it all goes haywire.
yeah, because then I'm like disconnected essentially, 110%.
The chain has been broken.
Yeah, exactly. But it does make for interesting experiences.
Because definitely, like in those situations, you should be one of those people that are like have the location turned on your phone at all times.
Right. Well, and that was when I was just in Denver. I was partying with people I used to live with in Texas, and I literally hadn't seen them in a long ass time. And I think it was the first night we went out, and I disappeared for like 4 hours. And they're like the whole
Jesus.
we went. I mean, we started drinking early, and then they're like, "You want to do blow?" And I'm like, "Of course I want to do blow." and then I guess I was blacked out at this point, and I was like riding with the guy to go get it. He goes, "I don't know what happened. I went in to go get it, and I came back and you were gone, and I couldn't find you. I didn't know where you were at. I tried looking for you. I drove around the block, couldn't find you, and I have no memory of what happened either.
You hopped out of a car?
Well, it was a parked car, yeah, but
And
like
you were
got out
just
and
like,
walked away.
nope, nope, this is where the night continues.
yeah,
for
this
me."
is where I go, and then.
Wow.
And then, like, I do remember, though, I came to and I was sitting on some steps in an apartment complex, and my phone was at 1%. It was like 3:30 in the morning. I left them about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then, like,
shit.
I hurry up and just use my phone, got a lift back to their place because I still had their address.
Yeah.
And then the lift actually took me to the wrong house at first. And I was like, I don't know if I put the wrong address in. I'm pretty fucking drunk right now. I was like, but this is not where I need to go.
Yeah.
And then, like, he actually took me to the right place.
Ooh.
And then, like, when I got there, though, everybody was already just, like, gone. Like, they were, like, already asleep and stuff like that. And then, like,
Wow! Don't send out the search party.
yeah, well, that's what they said. They're like, we really did look for you, but, like, we didn't know what to do or where to look for you at. And I was like, dude, I completely understand. I do this all the time. And then, like, and then they were like, eventually, I mean, I did look at my phone. Like, I plugged my phone in and I charged it. I had 45 missed calls just from them. I did not answer it one
So they
time.
definitely did try.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them. They tried.
That was
But,
like when
If
you
just couldn't
came out to
numb from the
Eugene. It
nipples
was
down,
like, here's a
like-
key.
Yeah,
Here, fucking have free reign. Just come in as you fucking need.
yeah.
There was a couple days I remember getting home at like 6 p.m. and like Eleni was like, pretty sure he's drunk when he came home and he just went to bed. And then you'd wake up at 9 and be like, yeah, I'm ready to go out. Let's go do something. We go walk around or something and go
Yeah.
eat dinner.
It was.
We never really partied in Eugene.
No, we kind of just drifted a little bit.
Yeah. You should come back out. I do the bar thing much more efficiently.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
See,
I could
need to
definitely do
like
that.
a trip like that.
Yeah.
Like I need a weekend, like just to go somewhere.
Definitely.
I don't fucking do anything. I think I have a phobia of it.
I
Come
mean,
to Scroogene.
Here's
I
my
come visit you.
Huh?
I would be comfortable.
Yeah. Just sleep in my living room. It's nice. It's good. I used to have a spare bedroom, but I have a roommate now.
So like I have this thing about leaving.
well. Here's
Like staying somewhere else. It's fucking weird.
I can kind of relate to that in a way, but like, and maybe it's just the way I travel. But here's how I look at it: is like I just plan shit. Like usually it's tours. I just plan it, and it's like, well, now I got to do it because I ain't gonna bitch out.
Oh, I would have fucking backed out.
And
I'm fucking backed up.
Yeah.
and
If I buy a plane ticket, I'm getting on the fucking plane.
yeah,
I wouldn't have any problem with that. It would be like nighttime when I go to fucking lay down. I'm like, is there
This
an
isn't
electrical
home.
fire at my house? Is that what's going on right now?
Yeah,
Like, it's that kind of shit. Like, the disaster shit, I feel like I couldn't even prevent if I was here.
yeah.
You know
You
what
think
I mean?
that's happening?
Well, like so what I do is like I just go do it, and it's nothing but like overbearing stress leading into it. But then like once I'm out there, it's like, well, I'm out here. I can enjoy it or I can freak out, and I choose to enjoy it. And then like once I come home, it's like these are stories that will stick with me forever. And I'm so glad I did it. You know? So that's kind of it sucks so bad going into it, and then coming out of it, it's like the best thing ever.
I'm like
you
the
know?
exact opposite.
And it
I
just
need
gets
to
better
travel.
and better.
Like
as the
if
trip-
without travel, I get fucked up, and I'm like, I
You
need
do
to go
travel
somewhere
a lot.
because I need
dude,
to.
I could not travel either. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do if I didn't travel.
If I stay anywhere for like 6 months to a year and don't go anywhere, I'm like super just out of my
Just
mind. Like I
depressed.
need to go
I get
somewhere.
really depressed and like
Yeah.
self-loathing. Like
Yeah, that happens. Yeah,
it's just
it's always something
I just-
different.
There's
but-
something else
don't
out
leave.
there, you know.
Yeah, I just got to see shit. I want to see stuff. I want to experience other things. And I mean, yeah, people are always different everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
why one of my main goals is to move the fuck away from here. Like,
Yeah.
what you moving across the fucking country was fucking heroic to me.
I just pigtailed on a Lenny. Or piggybacked on a Lenny. She did it first.
She did
That's
all the
true.
hard shit with a child.
Yeah,
and then he's like,
yeah.
yeah, I guess I'll live
I'm
with
gonna
you.
go live with you now.
She did steal my fucking idea. I'll stay with that till the end of time. She was never going to move to Oregon, and she asked me, "Where would you move?" I was like, Oregon. She was like,
Me too.
"Oh, that sounds really nice."
She just like
Yeah, that is-
just decide one day I'm fucking gone, or
Pretty much. She knew she was going to move. She was going to move to Tennessee, and then that kind of fell through for her, and then that's when she.
Eugene just
started-
sounds so random.
like
It was.
really
Well, I
is.
told her Portland, and then she started using citydata.com, which is an awesome site if you're thinking about moving
Yeah.
somewhere. It'll tell you like income, the average income of people, what they're making in that area, shit like that. And she had it down between Eugene and Bend. And I'm glad she found Eugene. I fucking love Eugene.
Eugene's
It's
a
funny,
cool place.
but
a
it's
cool
so
place.
funny that that's the place she picked because it doesn't fit her.
It doesn't
really.
fit her.
It fits me. It's dirty and grimy and it's high all the time.
Yeah.
And it's fucking great.
it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, right?
Do you think like are you planting roots there? You're just like there now.
No, I'm not planting roots, but I'd probably be there for another couple years at least.
Really?
Oh yeah, I want to enjoy the prime of my life in the area I want to be in for
Yeah.
the most,
So
most part.
it doesn't feel like the fucking vacuum of suck of the Ohio Valley.
No, and
Like it's
I
just
mean
hard to escape.
it's not without drawback. There are things there that it definitely
There's
irk the
cons
shit.
to everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Drugs are a problem everywhere. That was when I moved here. It was hard for me to see people I knew fucked up on drugs. Now I realize it's just hard to see people fucked up on drugs in
Yeah.
general
Right.
when things
Yeah.
are controlling to the point that it's something that controls your loved ones, controls people you don't even know, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where, and it's not even the same drug everywhere. It's
Hmm.
it's weird. It's a strange thing, but.
Yeah.
That is everywhere, so it's pointless to run from that here. If that's your main concern, you're never going to get away from that. In this
Oh, yeah,
country.
there'll
At
always
least
be-
not right now. You know?
No.
But
What are we at? Let's wrap this up soon because he's got to take off.
yeah,
Oh,
Right.
that's okay. We're at an hour and a half. We're good.
That's about that.
We're fine.
yeah, we good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up
yeah, yeah, we good.
now. I appreciate you guys coming to do this again.
I
I'm glad
love
got
it.
you both
I
of you on at
always
the same
love
time.
it. This was fun. Five
This
people
was
was
awesome,
fun.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, I really enjoyed meeting you.
This
though.
was awesome,
dude.
Me
Facebook friends, but now real friends.
real friends.
Real
This-
friends.
this
Son
is-
of a bitch.
Yeah.
Son of.
Skynet knew we were going to be friends before we knew we were going to be
Yeah,
friends.
that's weird, isn't it?
It's fucked up. It's like
Illuminati shit.
To the
Hey.
point that I assumed you guys were already friends.
to the yeah. Oh, they must be Facebook friends.
yeah.
We like each other's selfies.
Yeah. And it's, dude, Eric, it's always a fucking good time seeing you, dude.
Yeah,
I always
same
have
to
a
you.
good time seeing you, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys do this regularly. No.
Yeah, well, at this rate, I'll see you in 2 fucking months. So you know.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
You
Shit,
come
let
back
me-
before the end of the year.
Yeah.
I'll
probably.
chill with you, man. We'll have like a even non-podcast chill. We'll just
Fuck
hang
yeah.
out
We
for
can set
real.
something up.
Hell
That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
All right.
I would
well,
like to just chill in this garage because you know
Dude.
what? It was 95 today, and it's not even that bad in here. It's
Yeah.
fucking comfy.
Oh, dude, this
That
shit is
AC.
the tits.
It is the best shit I've ever been in.
Yeah, let's throw a party in here and give each other hand jobs or something.
Dude, we watched.
I'm down to beach. Oh. Whoops.
That's a yes.
Whoops.
It's okay. It's okay.
This is
All right.
Bye.
shit.
I'm done.
We'll
with that
end
thought.
on my bomb. Wah, wah, wah.
See you next week.